I had a big year there for a while. 64, I inherited the afternoon newscast. 64, Ron Cochran, the anchor of the evening news, develops a bad case of laryngitis. And one day, 3 o'clock, I get off the air, and I think it was Jesse. He said, "We want you to anchor tonight. Ron's sick." I thought, oh, geez, 3:15? I have to be back in, 2 hours? I rush home, change my clothes, figure something, what I would wear for the evening news, and rush back without thinking. I wasn't thinking, oh my God, this is first. I wasn't thinking about that at all. I was thinking, hey, Jesus, I have to do this. And the good part of it was in the studio that I used for the afternoon show. The difference was it was 3 cameras, not 2. But I felt comfortable in the studio. I knew all the stagehands. I knew all the camera crews. I had a much longer script, obviously. But it was not difficult surroundings for me. So somehow or other, I got through it. Well, it was the first time a woman had appeared at night as anchor of the evening news. And I must say, with all the discussion now of Katie Couric being the first blah, 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 I am somewhat irked. Granted, I did it one night. It was written up in the New York Times as a first, a good review from Jack Gould, who said, I had a no-nonsense manner and a Vassar smile, which I took as a great compliment, looking like an all-American girl. And so, yeah, it was a first, but it didn't make any difference. I did it again in '71 for 3 months when Sam Donaldson's time came to go to Vietnam. I did the weekend news, Saturday and Sunday night, for 3 months in '71. Now, we're going 64 to '71. No woman had done it in between, and I did it then. It didn't make any difference then either. I mean, nobody even commented on it, but I did it, and, at least, hey, I have to hand it to ABC, and Jesse wasn't even there anymore. But they knew I could do it, and I did it well enough. But, it just was too early.
Is it something that you wanted to do? Had they offered that?
Well, it's the starring job in television news, I suppose, sure. Although the afternoon news, anchoring the afternoon news, was frankly a bore. And I teach at NYU, and I'm teaching students, and they say they want to anchor. I said, boring. Most of the time. Now, for the evening news, however, you have many more responsibilities. You have the anchor job of disasters, elections, crises of all kind, where you have to call on whatever it is to ad lib and really play a different role other than reading the prompter. So yeah, you have a certain amount of say of what goes on in the news, and this correspondent or that correspondent, or this story first or that. But frankly, it's much more interesting to produce documentaries.
Now, why do you think it's taken 40+ years before a woman ever got that chair?
Good question. It's been a slow process. What happened is that more and more women got into the business because of the women's movement in the 70s. '72, the class of '72 included Leslie Stahl, a whole slew of Jane Pauley, Lynn Sure. They all started being hired by local stations because of what we did in the women's movement. Well, from '72 on, these people got their experience locally and drifted into the networks later, late '70s, '80s, and so forth. People got very used to seeing women on the air, and they started anchoring locally. Local stations had the local anchor team that looked like every man's second marriage, the guy with the gray hair with the young wife. So that was the anchor team. Although now you see women anchor teams, but it just taken a long time because they're very slow, they're very cautious, they're run by men who somehow think that, oh God, this is what a dramatic thing to do. Big deal. It probably wouldn't have made any difference if they did it 10 years ago, but they didn't.
What do you think the rationale was? I mean, was it a perception of?
Maybe they thought only men watched the evening news and that they would somehow not take a woman seriously. That may be, because women were not taken very seriously. How many women were in the Senate? How many people were respected spokespeople for government in any respect? They weren't. I mean, it took the women's movement to get women into responsible, decision-making, prominent positions. And certainly, broadcasting is not going to innovate. No way. They're not going to. They're going to wait till it's safe. So I guess they finally feel, 2006, that it's safe.